good. That's working. And then we can yes. Yes. I think we're good. All right. We have a Grand Cherokee, and we are going to tint everything on this, starting at 1219. A little bit of a later stream. I had just done a set of front doors last week and felt seals. So this is the same model. We're just doing the full thing now instead of just the front doors. So we got a full windshield, front doors, rear doors, back, everything except the sunroof. No sunroof. Dun, 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 dun. It's got an aggressive doot. Isn't that doot? It's ready to go. What's up? It is a nice color. I like it. All right. So you hear that? Doot, 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 doot. Not the boxes. The door chime. So, if the door chimes ever annoy you, you can tint with that door shut, or you can latch it. So right down here, this is what you're going to do on frameless doors, so this isn't going to impact anything that we're tinting here other than make it quiet. So this latch goes into this metal, and that's what tells the door. So right now it's not going to close all the way. But that's what tells the vehicle that the door is closed, and then that'll make the chime quiet. But we have to remember that we did that. So if you're tinting like a frameless door, that's the way to trick the window into staying up. Since it's so loud and aggressive, we'll make it a little quieter today. Do I really need a bulldozer to tint a back window? No, but in some cases, yes. You don't always need a bulldozer for a back window, but you're gonna wish that you had it. There's a lot of tools like that where you wish that you had that specific tool for that specific thing. And in a lot of cases, you don't have a way to reach behind a third brake light with what you have. Your handled squeegee isn't going to reach down far enough either. So this long white paddled squeegee is excellent for reaching much farther down, clearing the brake light. You have this little rubber edge on the front. I love these. These are a must-have. Tintbot, can you link the bulldozer in chat, please? But on this car, we don't need it. We have a hatchback window. We have a windshield where we can reach down far enough with most tools. Not going to need a bulldozer, but I'll still bring a bulldozer because it's nice to have for the windshield. For my BMW E60, it's harder without. Yeah. I remember I was mobile once, and I gotta latch the window over there, or push the button. When I was mobile, I had a mobile toolbox, and I thought I left it in the car, and so I had a car, and for the life of me, I like couldn't tint behind it, obviously, because it had a brake light in the way. Couldn't find it, and then it was hiding in my toolbox. I was so upset. Training courses. We do have a 3-day class, and we have single-day sessions. Those are on the site. TintBot, can you link the tint class in chat, please? This goes here. We should have a tape roll on the other side of the car. I should have most other things on the other side of the car. Well, I do have extra. This is what I'm using on the sides, using Seal Guard. I'm going to grab another roll here. The ones that don't say bulldozer are not as good. Yeah, there's a lot of knockoff tools. Bulldozers, I have not found. I've tried them. All the knockoff ones, they look just like it. They don't have the same blade, and they don't have quite the same flex. Even Fusion copied the bulldozer, and they came out with a more flexible version. It's just not quite as good. The OG, man. It's really good on that. TintBot, can you link the bulldozer in chat, please? Watch the screen. There'll be something. There'll be something that pops up. What's up, Garrett? Doing well. Hope you're doing good. Thoughts on Tint Club? Oh, it's just... I haven't used the films personally, but it's just not a good fit for my business. I felt the same way about Tint Depot. There's different points in your tinting careers, and when you're getting started, the film's generally not going to matter as much, and you don't want to throw away a bunch of money on just practicing and whatnot. So I totally get going more economical on film, especially in the beginning. I just always lean towards something that sounded more professional too. So like your Tint Depots and your Tint Clubs, it's just, you know, it sounds like I'm buying film from Home Depot, and I just personally never like that. But the film's less expensive. There's definitely going to come with some trade-offs. Z Gorgeous. Oh, we fixed it. Thank you so much for the 10. I really appreciate that. Good afternoon, Sensei. Thanks for what you do. I'm successful because of you. I appreciate the nice words. Thank you so much. Nah, it's you. Anybody that you make your own success. I'm just here with some advice. I've been through a lot of different situations, and it's still, you can know everything. It's work. It's always work to be successful, to make everything make sense. Tinting's hard. Making a business out of it's hard. But that's super cool. Appreciate that a lot. Fox, Miss Detroit is the Fox Theater show. As far as I know, it is. Got a Model 3 this weekend. Would you say a 36-inch roll is good? A 36-inch roll covers it. You don't get much extra, but a 36-inch roll is fine. What's up? Oh, you're gonna go? Okay. All right. See ya. I hope you're all right. Keep me posted, okay?
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave that on pause for now. All right, so we are doing 15 on the front. And we're gonna double cut this. Jeep Wrangler? No, this is a Grand Cherokee. It is a Jeep though. But I got two. I'm gonna have 2 layers of film here. We're just double cutting, which means that we're cutting out 2 front doors instead of just one. This is always the number one thing if you're hand cutting that you can do to speed up your cut time. So we're gonna overlap each piece, and then we're gonna make sure the bottom edge is perfectly matched up. So then I can tack those together, and then we're gonna separate this excess from the top here, because you see how that was just flopping over? 24-inch roll, got a little bit of excess for this. Don't need quite that much film on these. Now I can cut either the front edge or the back edge. Either way, perfectly fine. Gonna make that first cut. Toss that extra away. And now since we tacked it, this isn't gonna move. So we have to pull that back, wet it, and then we can slide this over. And we're gonna slide this back over all the way across the seal. Now you can go to this side, make another cut, toss that away, and then we're gonna pull this back. So we're gonna have some film overlapping the front and the back. It slid on me. It slid on me a little bit more than I wanted to. But it's wider than it needs to be. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna remake this cut. There we go. I like that better. Loosen it up. We'll slide it back over. So there we go. We got a little overlap on both sides. And now we're gonna lower this down. We're gonna go down a little bit farther on this one. There's quite a bit of room on the inside. And what I mean by that is when you open up the door and you look where the seal is compared to the outside seal, you notice this one is like half an inch, maybe even a little bit more above. So think of that on the outside here. However far I pull this down, that's where it's going to be on the inside of the door. So if I pull that all the way down to here, I'm trying to tuck this so far down, I don't need to go that far. If my seal on the inside is matched up with the seal on the outside, then any little bit that I go down, I then have to fight against that seal. So it doesn't make sense to tuck your doors super far down unless those seals are like majorly far down. We're only trying to get into the seal a little bit. You don't need to go crazy. So now we're going to cut this top edge. And we got a pattern. We're going to trim off the corners. Now we just want to cut this straight and take the sharp points away. So this is the top edge of the window. We're just going to keep that going with that same cut. See how it's hard to see, but it's up a little bit higher than it needs to be. So I'm going to just blend that and then round that corner. Do you want this tint below the seal? Yeah, we are getting below the seal, but you don't need to go much more at all than the first inner seal there. Not with a good film anyways. It's better if there's nothing there. So what he's saying is when we install this on the inside, if this is raised above the inside seal here, every time that window goes up and down, that seal is scraping against the edge of that film. So that means there's a chance that the film might peel. So that's why we obviously want to tuck into that first seal there. It also is going to hide any type of light gap because you would see the edge of the film, you'd see the glass. See a little difference there. Sometimes that can be pretty noticeable. Now there can be a double seal. So there can be another edge there. So it goes past the first seal and then there's usually another one there. So it is another point of failure for the tint. It might peel. What I find is it just doesn't happen the vast majority of the time. And if you think about it, there's those serious stickers. Any aggressive sticker adhesive that's nice and evenly pressed down across is not going to fail. I have no concern of it failing. All right, we're going to shrink these now. So we're going to turn on the heat gun. Let it heat up. Peel the film back off the bottom edge. Just work the heat gun in until you start seeing the film shrink. Then we're going to go across. And this is going to mold it to fit that same curve. See that little smile we got now? That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to go do that on the other side. So this window is wet. It's still slidey. I want to tack it so it's not going to move, and I'm going to lightly sweep out the water. And again, we're going to pick it up. Heat gun goes in. I see it starting to shrink. Just hitting that bottom edge. Getting it to curl inwards. And then once I see those lines kind of pointing in enough, that's good. See that? It's perfect. Sharpie method? Sharpie method's great. I go back to the knife so much. Just so used to cutting directly on the car itself. Sharpie method's awesome, and it's just as fast. I need mine replaced, bubbling. They do that. Bad films do that. Why is the tint going on the outside? Oh, that's what I need. I need a counter for how many times I get asked that per stream. Anybody that sees this always asks that's never seen tint before. Customers, people watching the videos, everybody asks that. If you hang around long enough, it does go on the inside. But we need to make a pattern. We need to make sure that pattern's going to fit the shape of the glass. Those two things are much harder to try and do on the inside. We got lots of space on the outside, so it makes sense to just cut our patterns, shrink them to size, and then they get installed. Thoughts on GeoShield as a first-time shop owner? Yeah, GeoShield's awesome. That's what I got when I first opened Detroit Tint Studio, and that's what I still have to this day. I have no reason to switch from them. They're awesome films. We're installing the C2 ceramic right now. Okay, so now we're going to clean off the window. Hearing that IRL hit so hard after being in the stream for a while. I know it. Anytime a customer sees you installing, they're going to ask why you're doing the outside. I've never seen it. It's supposed to go on the inside, right? Everybody gets concerned. It's like a universal thing about window film. I guess there's prep work. Did you save up to buy a shop? Yeah, a little bit. I knew how to tint before I opened up a shop. I had tinted for other companies. I was mobile for a long time. Yeah, I knew how to tint before I started a shop. But when I started, I was still servicing my mobile accounts. So I would still go to a few shops every week. And then I opened up Detroit Tint Studio. It didn't look like this. And then I just built it as I went, and I treated it like another mobile account. So I would answer the phone. I would schedule appointments on a couple particular days. And then I'd come in and get those appointments done. And then as I started filling up those days, I would open up more days and set more dedicated time for this place. All right, we are going to peel this. At what point was it time for you to buy a plotter? Oh, plotter is all about speed. You can get really good patterns off the plotter, but it's not going to be the case with every car, and you're never going to know how those patterns are going to fit until they're on the car. But what's super nice about a plotter is that you can have somebody else run the plotter for you, and then pulling cars, prep things, lay out patterns, and tweak patterns too. So they can just speed you up a lot more. So for example, I got this car here, and I'm installing. I would have another car lined up right behind it. I would have somebody cutting patterns off the plotter. I'd have them prep the car. I'd have them put the patterns on the car, ready to be installed. So I just come over and I shrink them and install them. As I'm doing that, they would come back to this car, clean it up, make sure everything's all ready to go. Okay, so we're going to sweep out some of the water. Just taking a light squeegee, pushing that out. That helps tack up the pattern. And then we can push a little bit harder. Get more water out. And we're going to finish it up with this. I mainly want the plotter for quarters while I hand cut most everything else. Just for quarters is a... You'll appreciate it for that. But yeah, quarter windows. So I'm going to plot the whole rear on this one. So these quarters, those quarters, back glass on this. That'll save me a bunch of time. So now comes the fun part. We're going to tuck this window. We're going to start with one of the corners. We're going to push that against the window. Make sure that this edge is nice and flat. We're going to pull back our seal. We're going to start to tuck that in. Then we're going to go to the opposite side. Pull the seal back. Tuck that over. And then we're going to go to the center and pick this up, because it wants to go down, but the panel and the seal keeps it from there. So we get that set up, go back to one of the corners, and then anywhere that's tied up on that seal, we pull the seal back, and it drops in. Then we're going to push this water out. Yeah, this live stream started a little bit later than I'd like. I didn't realize this morning it was a 12 o'clock appointment, though. I thought it was going to be a 10. But gave me some time to make sure everything else was good. Push out that water. Swipe the edges. Perfect. Now we're going to peel the tape off. And we're going to pull this back. See that felt? See that felt that was left on the tape? All those little... Ew. There's a couple of people that just asked about creasing. How do you install it without creasing? A few things can help. Practice, practice, practice. That's going to be one of them, obviously. The more reps that you get and you focus on just laying the film on, going through the motions, the smoother it's going to be. Another thing that can help out is going to be how wide and how long you make your patterns. So the point of making our pattern a little bit wider is so we don't see a light gap against the seal, right? We don't want to see the edge of that film. We want that to tuck into the seal. So if I make my pattern so wide, though, that now it becomes difficult to tuck, I'm going to get creases, I'm going to get dirt. Same thing with the bottom. If I go so far down into the seal, I'll see so many new people, they'll take their pattern and they'll drag it all the way down to like here. Well, that's like almost 2 inches trying to tuck into a seal. You're just never going to be able to do that. So those things will definitely help. Practice is going to be the number one thing, though. You just got to get used to going through the reps. We're going to open up a new 5%. They have really pretty stickers that come with them. These just like lightly tack, and you can take them and you can put them anywhere. All right, so again, we're gonna double cut these. So I got one piece of film. The tint side is facing the window right now. So I'm gonna flip it and now go opposite. Slippery roll. So now the film side is facing me. We're gonna trim that off. Put that back in the box. Should we do a Sharpie method on this one? Let me make sure I got a Sharpie, and we can do a Sharpie method on this one. All right. We'll do a Sharpie bucket. I do have a Sharpie. All right, we're going to do the Sharpie method. So we have two pieces of film stacked on each other right now. We're going to double cut them together. Sharpie means the only cut that we're going to make on the car is going to be for the top edge of the window. The rest of it, we're going to mark where our patterns are. So I'm going to start with taking this, dragging it down to where I would install it. And then I'm going to tack my pattern here. And it's never going to move from this position. I don't have to slide it around back and forth. So we're tucking it this far down. I'm going to go to one side, and I'm just going to draw where that edge is. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to draw where this side is as well. Now I'm going to roll down my pattern. So this is the only cut that I'm going to make. Cut this. There we go. And now we can take this and do the rest of our cutting over on a glass board. And we have all the information that we need to make this pattern. This is the way that we like to teach people how to cut first. If they've never cut patterns before, this is what we first show. So I have my Sharpie line here. This is where the edge of my window is. So all I have to do is cut outside this line, and I can make it however wide that I want it to be. So I'll make it about 1/8 of an inch wider. We can just take this, go straight down, and we can go outside our Sharpie line all the way down, right like that. We still want to round our corners. So same thing on this side as well. We're just going to go a little bit outside the line. Just want to make sure that's tacked. Take off the sharp corner. And then I'm going to finish off this top edge here. Round that. Let's take it down a little bit more. Cool. So we can go back over. Line that up. Double check that this is the right fit. Perfect. A little bit over. There we go. We got a couple of good patterns. Ooh, one extra thing. Let me make sure I wipe the Sharpie off. So I drew on the film side of it. Let me make sure this is... No, that's slip solution. So I drew on the tint side with Sharpie. Sharpie comes off, but just with a little alcohol. Do customers enjoy watching their vehicle tinted live? Yeah, they definitely do. And it's a very shareable thing. So they'll send it to friends and family. Does make you a little bit more nervous though on a customer. Like we're live streaming it to lots of tinters, but then all of a sudden you're letting somebody see so close to everything that's going on. They have the same reactions any of y'all do. Why are you tinting the outside? If something looks a little rough, they might like, oh shit. Where that's why a lot of shops like to pull the vehicle behind the curtain, keep the customers up front, never let them see anything back here, and then return their vehicle. I hate to copy you, but wanted to do that to give personality to the shop. Oh, go ahead. It doesn't bother me. There's tons of shops that'll live stream now. All right, so we're gonna install this pattern next. So I'm gonna shrink it. Snap shrink on the peel board. Okay. All right, you got me. Yes. Yes, I can. Before I do it on the door. Same thing if we're going to snap this on the car versus on the peel board. The only thing that you don't get from a peel board is the actual curve of the window. So when you have an extra curved window, it's good to have it on the door so you can just see how it fits better. But there's a lot of windows that don't have all that much curve, so it's a similar amount of snap. But I'm gonna do it the same way. I'm gonna pick it up, I'm gonna lift it, drag it across, let it anchor still in this spot, so then it's lifted off the glass, take the heat gun, let the heat gun warm up. Right, like that. Snapped. Have you tried to snap shrink the windshield yet? There's so much more to shrink. I've snapped sunroofs, I've snapped some hatchbacks, but a windshield you need to shrink far more. So it's not that you couldn't. but you're not just heating up the very edge of it. You're gonna have to like lift and shrink as much as you would on the windshield anyway. So in most cases, it doesn't make much sense. All right, let's grab the gel, a blade, and a towel. You don't have to snap it, but you do have to shrink it. Why do you only shrink the bottom edge? Because it's a door window. There isn't as much to shrink on a door window. The whole point of it, wow, this shifts a lot. Hang on. Okay, let's just leave it there. There's curve on car windows, and the film is flat. So you just want to shrink it some so it fits that curve. And there's going to be a lot more curve on a back window or a windshield. But some doors will be incredibly curved too. Think of the Corvettes. Model Ys are fairly curved. Model 3s are reasonably curved. Chargers. So many cars are going to have some curve to them, and some have a lot more curve to them. All right, so this one's ready to install. I don't know why more people don't peel on the car. I always see people making videos about mobile peel boards and stuff. Why don't more people just peel off the car? Car's my mobile peel board. All right, we're going to tuck this in to the side. There we go. And then see how that overlaps the tape right now? I'm going to pull that back, tuck, and then fan out my pattern. Ooh, that's nice. Soapy water, and now I've been using gel on a lot of things. So soapy water will go on everything, and then I'll hit the sides with gel. My car shut off again. These just don't like to stay on that long. These chargers, Chrysler stuff, Rams, they're in that same boat. Just gonna throw it on the floor, but I'll put it there. What kind of gel? I'm using OptiGlide. So we're gonna tuck this corner in. We're going to tuck this corner in. It's always important to have this edge flat when you're trying to tuck it in the side. And we pull back that seal. There we go. So, water and a little bit of soap. That way your film will slide. If you just use water, it's still going to stick like crazy. And just using soap would, it's hard to spray. It's a lot of soap. It's thick. So soapy water. OptiGlide and other tint gels are a newer thing, and they're so nice. It's a way to help manage dirt. They'll do a couple little extra things too, but the main thing that you're going to get from a gel is, look, I spray and I have water running down. So on a door window, that's not as bad because the water running down from the top edge, you wipe off your top edge, there's no dirt that's going to get in. But on the side edges, water carries dirt, and then when you go to squeegee it, the dirt gets stuck in the adhesive. But if you take gel and you spray it on the edges, see how this hangs here much longer? It acts as a barrier. So when I spray the sides, the dirt that would be settling in from like the felt, age, just dirt that's over on the side seals isn't going to run in the same way anymore. It's going to keep your window much cleaner. And the gel helps keep the dirt from sticking directly to the adhesive. So, especially on this quarter window here, I don't have much of an edge. And when I squeegee, I can reach the squeegee all the way up here, but there's still like a little bit of moisture here, and dirt can collect right in these edges and be super hard to get every teeny tiny bit of dirt out. So then if I spray and I got water running out, that's starting to drag the dirt out of the seal. And then you get a couple of little speckles in your quarter window. So then you have to recut it, tint it again, try again. And you're like, what the hell? I did a good job, but I just got a couple little spots in it, and it gets super frustrating. So gel is just one of those things that now you can spray, and especially in windshields, quarter windows, and it just makes it turn out so much more consistent. Okay, I got my patterns cut out. I can cut the patterns for this side. So we're doing 5 over the factory. So this is quite a bit darker on the rear. If you hold the ignition button down for 10 seconds or so, it will turn the ignition on for a while. Not on Chryslers, at least last time I've tried that. GM vehicles, yes, for sure. Fords, you can hit it a couple times. A lot of vehicles, you can push it a couple times or press and hold. Chrysler ones, they'll just like stay on for 10 to 20 minutes and then they'll shut off. Oh, come on. There we go. Let me just trim this off. What do I charge when starting? That's always a really difficult question to answer because it's going to vary a lot. What type of business are you? What area are you in? What kind of customers are you trying to go for? What are you bringing to the table? So one thing that you can do is call around in your area on shops and whatever that you would compare yourself with and start getting quotes, because that's what your potential customers are doing. They're getting quotes from other shops. And so you have to do something to stand out. This is a Grand Cherokee L, right? I got this set up right. Ooh, I gotta change out this blade. That was the only thing. I gotta switch this out for this one. Why would you tint when it's illegal? Well, it's not just blanketly illegal. There's nuance to that. But there's a lot of reasons. You can tint your vehicle clear so you don't see any tint on it, and then you block a lot of heat. Another reason is obviously to cut down on the glare and privacy. It's not just blanketly illegal everywhere. So Michigan state laws are top 4 inches of the front doors and the windshield. You can go as dark as you want on the rear, unless you have a doctor's note, or unless you got it on your license as a restriction. Also, not everybody lives in India either. Like me. But one of the best window film manufacturers is there. You got Guari in your back door. Backyard. Back door sounds weird. What did you say about tinting clear? Yeah, so ceramic films can get virtually clear. So window films will block UV. And they also can block a lot of heat. And the nice thing about a ceramic film is it can block a ton of heat without having to go dark at all. It's just a lot of people typically want a little bit of shade when they're getting their car tinted. Because if they get it tinted, they might as well make it look better. Alright, so let's squeegee this off. We're going to tint this quarter window. Gel is going to be a huge help on this one. So again, I can squeegee this window really well. But the areas that like to hold a little bit of dirt are always the hard to reach, hard to squeegee. You have a little ceramic lip there. Very hard to make them absolutely perfect all the time. So that's why I like hitting it with the gel. Then we're going to get this. We're going to tuck this up. Yeah, if you go against the tint law, of course you can still get... Of course you can get a ticket for it. And we're going to squeegee this out. You definitely fucked that up. Did I? We'll get real close. We'll see. We'll see if we fucked it up or not. There we go. That was that plotter cut. Went a little bit past. Now that's taken care of. Let's get this wiped off and we'll have a nice close look at it. It always gets silly trying to argue with people that are like, it's against the law. They just like... They're not going to jaywalk. They're not going to go a mile over the speed limit. It's just, you're always going to have those types of people. But then there's the law, and then there's actually what is like socially allowed and just kind of accepted. There we go. Oh, no, sorry. I gotta wipe off the outside too. People are gonna see the drips and go, oh, what is that? See? See how friggin' perfectly clean that shit is? Beautiful. It looks so good. It's always hard to wipe it off so there's not even a little dust speck there. You do hand cuts in the classes? The vast majority of the class is all hand cutting. We show people what a plotter is like, but the majority of people come here because we pull in real cars and we have them cut on the cars. We don't have you in an office room with one door window. You are in class with cars and you have multiple types of doors and stuff that you go around and practice on. All right, so these doors are completely done. We're gonna go over to the other side and start working on that now. Guys, try to not get into an argument with somebody that doesn't want to listen. You don't need to get the last word in. Just let them fizzle out. You'll forget about them later. So funny. All right, we're going to cover this up. RAV4 front quarter windows. Oof. I hate the newer Toyotas. They're so annoying. The quarter windows have gotten worse. All right, we're gonna go ahead and scrape this off. But on a RAV4 front quarter window, gel is gonna be your best friend now. There's a couple things that you can try to do with the seal. You can wedge a couple corner cards in the seals and let them sit for a while. So I would take a handful of like tri-edge cards and I would wedge them if we had one of those quarter windows here. I know we don't right now. I would wedge them in the seal around and just get it to hold that seal back for a little while. And then you get your pattern cut, you go to install it, you pull those out, clean it real quick, and that way the rubber seal stays expanded and makes it a little bit easier. Another trick is to feed a little like 10 gauge wire in the window to actually hold the seal back too. Would it be smart to tint my windows on probation? Or am I asking to get... If you have to ask that question, then it's probably a bad idea. It's like people with breathalyzers. Like, just don't get your car tinted right now. You're making up for stuff. Focus on that. Do better. So funny. All right, so we're going to install this driver's door. So we're going to peel this so it's halfway down-ish, both sides. So halfway down here, halfway down here. I could go farther if there's space. Keep that in mind. It's not a firm rule. Take advantage of extra space. Just at least give yourself a little bit of room there. So we're going to get this side tucked in. And then we're going to go to this other side. And then we're going to put that there. Right? And then we're going to tuck this into this side. Sweep this off. Yeah, if you've been arrested, you're out on probation, I probably would just step back from doing things that could potentially get you in more trouble. There's no way your vehicle would have come with anything that would be illegal unless it was installed aftermarket and they just never removed it. All right, we're gonna rinse this. Gone silent. I'm just listening to the incredibly smart conversation everybody's having in chat right now. That's fucking popcorn right there. It was aftermarket. Yeah, so you weren't supposed to be driving around with it. It's a good excuse, though, to get out of a ticket. That worked for me one time. I had tinted taillights. I had a fully tinted vehicle. I had halogen bulbs. I got pulled over once. And I was like, why did I get pulled over? And he's like, all of this? I was like, I just bought the car. He's like, you can't be driving around with any of this. Well, I'm sorry. I will get that removed ASAP. And you know what? I got out of a ticket. It was great. Is Global Window Film a good tint brand? Yes, Global Window Film is a fantastic film. Actually, less of an amazing brand because XPEL came in and stole Global's lunch. Global was the most talked about window film, most trusted window film for a long time. If you asked, what tint should I get? Everybody was saying Global. Now hardly anybody mentions Global. XPEL swooped in. Same film, better branding. Stole their lunch. A lot of people use them as their main manufacturer. That's going back to India, Gwari. All right, so this door, we got a quarter window to do. We got this roll down to do. We're gonna do them back to back. I'm fresh out. I'm going to enjoy my freedom and my windows. I love it. It's just like I've had so many people, their cars are fucking falling apart. They got fog lights dangling off the front. Their brakes don't work. I pulled a truck in once and I almost went through the garage door. And I went up front. I was like, what the fuck? And he's just like, yeah, just tint it though. I know I got to get my brakes fixed. Priorities. Love it. I haven't personally installed PDLC, so like an electric chromic tint. I had a student come here for architectural, and they were actually installing it. It's not the easiest stuff to work with, but you don't install it like regular film. And then it's more about wiring. So you get it like pre-cut to the correct dimensions. So it's see how these windows are frosted? It's a film that when you run current through it, it'll frost itself, and then you take away the current and it'll unfrost. One or the other way. I'm actually not positive. But it's really expensive stuff. No, I've never worked with it directly. All right, let's spray this. Well, Chad is such a peach today. It was just a kidnapping charge. Buddy, you definitely don't want to tint your windows if you got in trouble for kidnapping. Let's maybe not make anybody suspicious that you're hiding somebody in their car. Dealership tinted my windows. They don't match the rest of the factory. What should I do? I'd take it back to the dealership and just say have them remove it if you don't like it. All right, so we're gonna pull this side back. We're gonna tuck it in. That looks good. Push out some water. Squeegee that out. Oh, fuck. Ah, I got fucked by this one. Okay. So, I caught this on the other one, but I was so distracted by chat, I missed this one. So you see how this window shifts back and forth like this? It rolls down, it looks fine. And then when you roll it up, it shifts back. So I needed to tuck it farther over here, and then it would have been fine. Or I should have leveled out my window, and then it would have been fine. But now it's stuck here. So unless I could magically get this pattern fed back, slid over, it's going to introduce some dirt typically. We might be able to do it, but I might as well just recut a pattern. We could have passed it off temporarily. And they might not have ever noticed, because you can push it here and then leave it like that, and then that gap's hidden. But as soon as you actually go to use the window like normal, it shifts back and forth, and then it that happens. So we're gonna get some film. Actually, you know what? We might as well just we got the roll here. Let's just cut it. Vehicles. Rear door. Da, 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 da. I got stories, brother, with receipts you wouldn't believe. Fuck it, let's go. Tint therapy, story time. Okay, now this should be the top edge. Trim that. Then we're going to trim this out. It was a setup? Shit. Should tell him it was a setup. Okay, now I'm just confused. The quarter window worked. This is a Grand Cherokee L. Right rear door. Quarter windows, rear quarter windows. Then I ended up on Crime Stoppers. Oh, this isn't the L. This is just the Cherokee, right? This is the Grand Cherokee. I clicked the L. I took an L. I don't think it matters. Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to cut this one out now. We've come too far. Let's do that. Okay, we're good here. Cut this one out. Ah, could have just pressed triangle. All right. So when you plot or cut, you still need to weed the pattern because it cuts through the film and not through the liner. So you still have to trim it. So this is the top. We're going to take this. Walked into a tint shop yesterday and it was filthy. Yeah, a lot of shops and installers, they don't think about that kind of stuff because it's very like automotive mechanical. But the nice thing about films is like they can be treated completely different. How do you get leads? We run Google ads. They go through a little bit of a funnel. I'm not super happy with it. But it works okay. But we answer the phone, talk to people. The biggest thing is like, you want to be able to have a conversation. See that? We got to make sure that's pushed over. You want to have a little bit more of a conversation with somebody other than directly on price. So quality of your leads matter. And some people just run marketplace ads. And that's like the lowest. Like, it's just frustrating text conversation. Everybody's a haggler, and you're going to waste a bunch of time there. Google's a little bit better. General Facebook ads are better. But you're still going to have to talk to them as much as possible in the beginning. So when somebody fills out a lead form, try and get them on the phone. Don't just handle it over text messages. But you want to figure out first, like, why are they getting tint? Because you can at least talk to them about some of the things around what they're getting. Then they see you more as somebody trying to help them solve a problem rather than just another person that quotes a price that assumes what they want. Gives you a little bit of an edge. But it's still tedious. What do you think happens when water touches electrical wires? Bubble gum and snowflakes, probably. Squeegee, squeegee, squeegee. Ooh, I don't like that bend back. There we go. We're going to roll this up. And we're going to see how our pattern did as far as tucking goes. Really good pattern, by the way. They seem to have cut this extra wide, which is what, honestly, I should have done in the first place. Ooh, good pattern. Really good pattern. Good job, Core. 10 and 10 on that one. Squeegee that. Swipe the sides, swipe the bottom. And now we got this one. This one should fit. We did it on the other one. But this is for the Cherokee L. Chat, you guys are weird today. All right. We're going to peel the quarter. Missed it. Put this on the glass. That worked out really nice. Still have to push it back just a little bit. But I don't know if the other quarter windows would have done the exact same thing. Not a big deal. We're going to peel the tape out, wipe this down, and do the next windows. Can you show how to hand cut the back window when the spoiler is away? I got a good video on the channel for that one. I got the full windshield to do after this, so I am going to plotter cut this one today. Oh yeah, we got a 24-inch roll. So let's grab a back window. How should we do these? I guess we maybe flip them. Yeah, we can do these sideways. Let's do that. I get a couple of people that help. Not with tinting, though. It's with the store side of things. So all the cars that get done here are done by me. So we're going to clean this off. There we go. So I'm going to set the quarter windows while this back window is drying. There we go. Definitely a weird one today, that's for sure. Okay, so I flip these quarter windows sideways. Videos have helped a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad they've helped. If you had to choose between Expel and Lumar, what would you choose? I don't have a good as a consumer. Oh, that's different. Thank you for adding that at the end, because I would have gone on a tangent for a shop. I would focus less on the film that I'm getting and more where I'm going to. Because you're going to start, you're gonna compare specs way too much, but you don't know what either of them really look like. You don't really know what they're gonna feel like until they're actually on the car. Both of them are gonna do very well. It should come down to which shop you think is just going to do a better job. Because in the end, that's what's actually going to really matter between those two films. Everybody, like, it's unfortunately not like picking out a phone or just a regular product. It's like, you know, even with flooring, you could hold it, feel it, take a look at the finish of it, see the underside of it. You'd get a better idea of what you're getting. But you could look at these side by side and like lean towards a color tone or feel them behind a heat box, one versus the other. But it's a little bit more of an art. How is the installer going to do? So side by side, if this was done in Lumar, if this was done in XPEL, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one was done in what film. But who does it matters a hell of a lot more. So, because I shrunk this sideways, or cut it sideways, I can only shrink it sideways. So these top and bottom edges would be better to shrink this on, for sure. I mean, we can take an even more obvious example, too. You can do like a carbon versus a ceramic film. Like, what should I get? Ceramic's going to have more performance. But visually, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you without taking a meter on the film which one is which. Or driving the car around, feeling the difference between the two. But a lot of the marketing, spec numbers, you're going to compare so much that it's like you're going to immediately get the impression like if I'm getting a ceramic film on my car, it's going to look significantly better than a carbon film would. No tinner's going to be able to tell you the difference just by looking at them. Good film is good film. Oh, this is interesting. All right, let's grab a towel. The reason we shrink is because the glass is curved. The issue I have is XPEL XR Plus is 900 and Lumar Stratos is 1100. Yeah, and then I could install GeoShield Apex, and that would be significantly less expensive. And again, an awesome film. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them. What you're paying for at those prices is just purely brand. So whichever brand you feel like going with, but it really should be more about the installer. Those companies charge a lot of money because they have good films, but because they have a bigger name. But there's a certain threshold where there's no performance to be gained the visual differences, the longevity, performance, any of that. And the thing is, you're not going to have anything else to compare it to. So if you're happy with the job, you're happy with how the film performs, like, you'll be stoked about it and you'll get it the same thing again. Is it this side? There we go. Wow, they really went deeper in the seals on this one, huh? Oh, there's the battery warning. Watch me forget it. There we go. That looks good. You can tell when a film is especially hazy or has maybe a very strong, ugly color to it. That's going to be the main thing about a cheap film. Would it matter if you didn't shrink it? On this one, yeah, a little bit. It still wouldn't be that bad. There'd be a couple fingers to touch up on the inside, but it's better that I did on this one. Especially with how wide that pattern was. It went quite a bit farther into the seal than I would have personally cut it, but it doesn't. It's just more film to tuck in is the only downside about that. Doesn't make it turn out any worse or better. It just is. Okay, we got that. Work on the other one. What else do we need? Nope, that's it. Just a pattern. Pattern's all shrunk, ready to go. Oops. This. You stream 5 days a week? No. I stream when it makes sense to stream. I don't have a set schedule for it. It's when it makes sense on the schedule. Ugh. Yeah, this one's cool. Really tuck this in. Oh, I got so much more space over on the front edge. Tint Depot. Tint Depot has good films. The unfortunate part about them, and the reason that they started high tech, is they have like reverse branding. So they're a global distributor, and they sell global films in their territory, but outside of their territory, they're not allowed to sell global. So not every Tint Depot film is, but a lot of the Tint Depot films are global. So you get a really good film, and you pay the price for it, same price. But you just don't have the same branding with it. It's more of like a Home Depot sounding thing. I feel like that's Amazon. I should check. Oh my god, you're right. We got a low bat. Didn't I say I'd forget? Funny how that happens. Alright, let's swap that right now. Good. Which way does it go? This way? Yes. Okay, battery replaced. Thank you. That was a big help. That happens literally every time. It's like your seat covers. We give those away too. Alright, I'm going to see how clips have been doing today. I've worked with Lumar. They're really good films. I tried different brands, much lower prices, and found out the performance were nearly the same. Yep. So I feel like there is a threshold for all of this in every film brand. A lot of films are going to be at similar price points because a lot of them are coming from the same types of places. There's only so many actual window film manufacturers. Now, there's reasons to pay a little bit more to go with a better brand or a better company overall. Sometimes it's just customer service isn't as good, shipping isn't as good, overall professionalism isn't as good. There's a lot of like company reasons. And there's just absolutely no way that a roll of film that costs $100 is just as good as a roll of film that costs $300. There's going to be quality of material differences. So what I liked about GeoShield was I've always felt like they have top tier films. They just never carried the same weight in their name. Like, we get asked about Lumar, Expel all day long. Those are going to be the most recognizable brands. 3M's in there too. And there's lots of films that'll be just as good, if not better. They just don't have the same type of weight behind their name. They don't charge as much for their films. Their marketing just isn't as strong. So when you charge a lot more for your films, you have a lot bigger budget to put into marketing. I'm not saying they're bad films. I'm just saying, like, if it's pure performance. But there's a lot of products out there that people will buy because they want to get a good product, and they also trust the brand that's attached to it. Branding is so important. I like to pretend Matt has the camera on his forehead and he's just really short. He used to. I used to do that. All right, so we're going to shrink this. Not a ton to shrink on this one. It's just a hatchback. And since I can just reach everything nice and easy, I could still keep it in quarters if I want to, or I can just go across. Low heat? No, high heat. Always high heat. You can use low heat with high heat. You just hold the heat gun a little farther back. Ooh, that was close. That was almost a dumb mistake, really. It almost got pinched like that. When you heat it and shrink it, does the tint get harder. No, it stays exactly the same. It'll soften up while it's warm, but then it cools down so fast. Just like heating up anything that's plastic. I don't have a good example offhand that you maybe have on hand, but like this is a plastic stick squeegee. So I could heat this up to get it to soften up and then bend it, and then it's going to harden back up and be just as hard as it was before. Tint's the same way. Why not cut it to size? It is cut to size. So on a back window or windshield, it's good to leave them a little bit bigger, because as you get the heat gun right up on the end, there's a strong chance that you are going to burn that edge. And so when you cut it wider, you can burn an edge that's just getting trimmed off. Gives you more film to work with. This is a plotted pattern, so same thing. It's trimmed, but I left excess on the film just so I could let it do that. There's a back window of an Odyssey, hard to tint. They're definitely somewhat curved. It's been a while since I've gotten an Odyssey though. Grand Caravans. Sienna's pretty easy. It depends on the year. Some of the new ones are just really small. So chances are the minivans tend to be a little bit more rounded. Why do you need to heat the tint? As always, because the film is flat and the glass has a curve to it. So we're molding it to fit the same curve as the glass. I wish that would stay out of the way a little bit more. Do you use a cooling system, like air conditioning? Yeah, it's up front. Oh, that's pumping up there. I should go change that. Yeah, we keep an air conditioner on. It doesn't have to, you don't have to tint in a cool environment, but it's definitely more comfortable. Okay, we're gonna take a clay bar. We can take a scrub pad. And then we're going to take that piece and slap it on the inside. It probably stopped and I didn't know it. Shit. No? Really? Wow. Okay, go figure. That's rare. All right, take some gel. Do you ask people to wash their cars? No. No, and the way I look at this is you put burden on the customer or you put burden on yourself. So the more things that you handle, obviously the more work that it is, but the easier on the customer's life it is too. So some shops will say, please get a car wash before bringing in your vehicles. And then, you know, they're scrambling out the door, dropping kids off, whatever else. Customers have other things going on in their life, but that little difference is going to make your life obviously easier if the car comes in extra clean. You can get it done faster. Maybe you charge less because of that. But if you take it on yourself to take care of all those things, well, then it makes the customer's life easier. So that's a choice that you can make. Honestly, glass cleans up so fast that I'm used to tinting dirty cars. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't need a car to be washed to make it look good. Now, one thing I don't do is wash a car after I'm done tinting it. It would be better in most cases if I did. Customers would appreciate that kind of thing more. But I just don't. But as a good business, you can really try and understand like every possible pain point, and the more things that you cover, it's good for business, but it'll obviously put more of the burden, more of the work on you. But it might, you know, the right types of things can definitely start to set you apart from other places. Like, oh, this guy didn't wash my car. This other guy did. Or, oh, they gave me a bottle of glass cleaner and a towel after I got my tint done. That's one thing that we do. Is like, we go over care instructions and we give them one of those big spray away bottles of glass cleaner afterwards. And they're like, oh, sweet. There's always little extra things that you can do to try and set yourself apart from other people. Just before I shrink the side doors, as I lay the film on the glass, a lot of fingers begin to show up. What's the cause of that? Just before I begin to shrink all the doors, as I lay the film on the glass, there's a lot of fingers. What's the cause of that? What can I do to fix it? You're literally describing what you're about to do. You're like, I'm about to shrink the film, but when I put the film on the window, a lot of fingers pop up. The whole point of shrinking is to take care of those fingers. That's what you're doing. So shrinking is taking heat to those fingers and making them go away entirely. How much money for this one? This one, we're doing everything with the windshield, is $550 in GeoShield C2 ceramic. The whole reason we shrink is film is flat, glass is curved. So when you lay a piece of film on the window, you see all those wrinkles because it's not laying flat on the window. You need to shrink it so then that lays flat on the window. All right. Well, everything is, a little bit more here. A little water to push out. Better. Or that was just gel. I just got a goop on my head. Lovely. All right, in a couple minutes, I'm going to end the stream and then start another one. I'm gonna get the dashboard set up, and then I'll come back. Just want to check on some stuff before I do that. And at some point, it's always funny how this happens. At some point, oh yeah, my YouTubes too. Okay, cool. We'll come back. We'll come back live for the rest of the windshield.